It's Hunter Cooke, and Hunter is actually graduating. So Hunter, welcome to the show and thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
What did you get your degree in?
History.
History?
Yes,
All righty. Now what specific, like my brother, he teaches in Denton. He's a professor of art history. So is there a specific area?
Well, I didn't really go into it expecting to have an emphasis, but I ended up taking a lot of my classes based on the history of Central Asia from about 1900 to 1975, which is a really, really fancy way of saying I studied the Vietnam War for a long time. So I've been more of not necessarily a logical thinker, but a more critical thinker. So a lot of the really like idiosyncrasies in Christianity kind of bugged me and it tore me away from the faith. My reconversion, so to say, really happened when I was 18 at a camp. And I had a counselor who could sit down and guide me through those in a more academic way. So in a way, my walk has been more of an academic critical study of Christianity and the Bible, which kind of led into the whole history thing. Like all the context just kind of lines up for me. I love all that stuff. Well, necessarily like the problem of evil, just necessarily like being, well, where does evil come from? It had to come from a place. Therefore, you know, if God created everything, then God created evil as well.
Right.
Stuff like Pascal's wager, which is, I was definitely a Pascal's wager Christian for a long time.
What is that?
It says basically, I don't know, but to be safer, I'm going to assume that there is a God. And that was one of the big things that bugged me is there seemed to be, especially out in West Texas, there seemed to be a lot of people that profess it, but not a lot of people that actually walk that out. They seem to be, it's just fire insurance at that point.
Okay, I gotcha.
Well, the concept of faith was explained to me in a much deeper way. Faith does not mean having a blind faith. Faith does not mean like, oh, I just believe it because. Faith is definitely like, we cannot prove outright the existence of God, but we can point to certain coincidences and say, okay, this does not make sense when you explain it with science. We can try to discern that further, but as I've grown older and as I've seen more of these coincidences, it's definitely my belief that these coincidences point to a creator.
Right. You're at the Wesley Foundation now, but after that camp, what happened?
Well, it's a little bit of a crazy story, actually. I was a 3-year starter for my high school football team, captain my senior year, and my senior year of football, we actually went all the way, won the state championship, the whole 9 yards in the biggest division in Texas football. And you know, like poster behind me, we lived the Friday Night Lights dream.
Wow.
But the only feeling that I felt as I was walking off of that field was a feeling of dissatisfaction. I wanted more. Even though I had reached arguably like the pinnacle of what we could reach as athletes, that was all I wanted. I wanted another shot. Not at all. And I went on from there to play football at Hardin-Simmons for a year and a half or so. And while I was there, I was also working in a summer camp called Pine Cove down in Tyler. And during like the last thing we did, I really, really hurt my back, which is kind of ironic because I spent the entire week just kind of like, man, I really feel like God is calling me to quit football and go somewhere else.
Wow.
I really, really feel like this. And in the absolute last second I was at camp, I was just kind of jumping around. I came down and I felt this like pop in my back. And so now my spine is dislocated. It's shifted a little bit to the right and it hangs off a little bit over there. And basically I can't play contact sports ever again. So I thought, man, I have no idea what I'm doing. I saved for another year at Hardin-Simmons, got mixed up into some stuff that wasn't that good.
We all do.
And I just thought, man, where can I go that would really challenge my faith? I thought I could go to Baylor because all my camp friends were there. And then I thought about that and I realized, man, that's the easy way out. If I go there, my faith will never change. My faith will never be my own. I will never grow as a human being and more importantly, a Christian.
And why is that?
Because I would sit around and be complacent. I would be complacent talking about the same old things, exploring the same old concepts, hanging out with the same old people. And there's not there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with having consistency. But me personally, I would not have been challenged. I would not have had the ability to push myself. Right. So I just kind of jumped in, knowing maybe a couple people. And a guy I had actually met at Pine Cove, and Josh August, brought me to the Wesley Foundation. And I don't know, I just fell in love with the people, fell in love with the community. Was there for 3 years. Now I'm graduated, and I want to give back to that community. So
right on.
Here I am working a job.